Good morning, televiewers. It's another beautiful day, and we are here as usual with the headlines or what the papers are saying in Cameroon. It is a favorite bilingual program, as you all know. We dig several layers beneath the major headlines as captured by the newspapers in the country. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are telling us of some Anglophones whose loaves of bread have been buttered by the Anglophone crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. Shall tell you those Anglophones who have had to see their career lifted to the next level as a result of the Anglophone crisis. And over 27 human rights organizations are calling on the government of the Republic of Cameroon to release all those that have been detained within the context of the socio-political upheavals in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon, as well as the post-electoral conflict in the country. We shall tell you more on that. Meantime, Bomotonguina Gwladys is here with the headlines in the French language. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha, bonjour à vous et merci de nous retrouver une fois de plus pour Debrief, votre émission bilingue de revue de presse sur Média Prime et Télévision. Alors, pour la revue de presse des titres ce matin, nous allons débuter avec le journal La Voix du Peuple qui nous parle de la pénurie de blé au Cameroun. À quand du pain à base de la farine locale de manioc? Le confrère pense qu'il serait mieux que le ministre de l'Agriculture et du Commerce substitue le blé avec de la farine de manioc. Les détails sont donc en page 5 de ce journal. En page 3, le journal nous parle de la sécurité sanitaire des aliments au Cameroun. 5 mesures de base pour les améliorer. La vente des aliments sur la voie publique présente des risques majeurs. Nous continuons ce matin avec le journal Éco Matin qui parle de l'inflation des prix du pain au Cameroun qui est passé de 125 francs CFA à 150 francs CFA en catimini. Les détails sont donc en page 11 de ce journal. Nous poursuivons ce matin avec l'économie quotidienne qui nous parle du développement local, les contrats de ville, État, commune au scanner. 20 ans après le recrutement des consultants devant faire l'audit de ce partenariat est en cours. Plus de détails en page 5 de ce journal. Nous terminons ce matin avec le journal Réalité quotidien qui parle du professeur Soso, du professeur Baïbek et aussi du professeur Jacques Ndongo, un problème d'université et clandestin. Les détails sont donc en page 6 et 7 de ce journal. En page 4 et 5, le journal nous parle du maillot Sava Tokombere qui est décidé à sortir du sous-développement. Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est ici qu'on s'arrête pour cette revue de presse en langue française. Place à la découverte de ces journaux en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Bomotonguina Gwladys. Let's kickstart this morning with the Lone English Daily, the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is bringing to us this morning some faces or some Anglophone faces which, according to the paper, have had to see their loaves of bread buttered by the Anglophone crisis. And Cameroon today counts several institutions born out of the cinders of the Anglophone question, which observers say remains the worst crisis the country has ever experienced in history. These adjustments have provoked paradigm shifts exclusively linked to the bilingual outlook of Cameroon and other peculiar moves taken by peculiar moves to appease the population of the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. But in reality, as we are told by the said newspaper, in reality, the solutions that have been proposed are not happy matters. Amongst those Anglophones who have had their bread buttered, as we are told by the Guardian Post newspaper, is the Minister of Territorial Administration of Cameroon. That ministry, he was the first, Paul Atanganji, the first ever Anglophone to hold the post of territorial administration in this country, and also the national or the president of the Bilingualism Commission, We are talking about former Prime Minister Peter Mafani Musonge, who is the chair of the said commission created to sort out the issue of bilingualism and multiculturalism in the country. We also have in the Guardian Post newspaper this morning, Fire Yengo Francis, who is, of course, the head of DTR Center, also born out of the Anglophone crisis in the country, and Professor Pauline Nalova Lyonga, the Minister of Secondary Education, is also one of those that were appointed within the context of the Anglophone crisis. And we are told by the said newspaper, those are the moves that were taken by the government of the Republic of Cameroon to appease Anglophones in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. You can read more about those Anglophones that you are seeing on your screens, whose loaves of bread have been buttered by the Anglophone crisis, only in this edition of the said newspaper. We take you to the Herald Tribune newspaper. The Herald Tribune is bringing to us this morning echoes of celebration of National Youth Day in Lebialem in the southwest regions of Cameroon. 56th National Youth Day in Wabane subdivision in Lebialem division of the southwest region. Paul Tasson, Honorable Muju, others credited for successful celebration of the National Youth Day in that part of the country. The paper goes ahead to tell us that the 56th edition of the National Youth Day has been celebrated in Pom and Pigri in Lebialem Division, southwest region of Cameroon. It is the first time since the start of the socio-political crisis that later resulted into an armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, that Lebialem Division witnessed such a huge turnout in Youth Day celebrations or activities in that part of the country. The success has even sent shock waves down the spines of some of those who have been fighting the state of Cameroon. Paul Tasson, Minister Delegate in the Ministry of Planning and Territorial Development, Senator Fon Lekunze, Honorable Foju, and Mayor of Wabane in that part of the country. All of them have been credited for the great success recorded in the 56th edition of the National Youth Day celebration in that part of the country. The message of thanks to these elites of Lebialem was re-echoed in songs chanted by the youth who marched past the ceremonial grandstand. That was on the 11th of February 2022. And also in the said newspaper, we are told that the celebration was interrupted in Banka in the west region of the country, where a student reportedly died, and the death of the pupil disrupts the 11th February activities in that part of the country. More details on page 5 of this edition of the Herald Tribune newspaper. And the Herald Tribune is also presenting to us this morning the 2022 project logbook for the southwest region of Cameroon. You can get more details on page 20 of this edition of the Herald Tribune newspaper. We take you now to the Sun newspaper. The Sun newspaper this morning on page 7 is telling us that the vice principal of GHS Limbe has been accused of GCE registration malpractice, but the VP, Tebong Ndive, rubbishes accusations, says it's only a smear campaign to tarnish his image. And still in the Sun newspaper this morning, Gaston Kumba finally sacked as National Assembly Secretary General. He is, according to the paper, the fifth in Kavayege era at the lower house of Parliament. Thank you for watching, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. We are back to continue digging several layers beneath the major headlines with our resource person who is already on the line. We are being joined this morning by Maitre Alex Ndive. Maitre Alex, good morning once again, and thank you for always being there for the program.
Good morning, good morning. I was not hearing you, but I can get you now clearly. I understand yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Maurice Kamto. Happy birthday to Mr. Bia and all those who have birthday, and good morning to the people of the Cameroons.
Thank you very much, Maitre Alex. We begin with this headline in the Guardian Post newspaper, talking about some Anglophones elites who have had to, their loaves of bread buttered by the Anglophone crisis in the northwest and southwest. The faces you are seeing on the screen, amongst them, the Minister of Territorial Administration, the first ever Anglophone to hold that post in the country. We equally have Professor Pauline Nalova-Lyonga. We also have Paul Tassong and the former Prime Minister and Senator Peter Mafani Musonge. What is your reaction to that headline?
Before I go to the nitty-gritty of the headlines about Anglophones who have benefited from the Anglophone crisis, when we say Atanganji is the first Anglophone minister, you don't become a minister because you're an Anglophone. You become a minister because you are competent. If all the ministers in Cameroon, they are competent, they come from no problem. A minister is for the whole country, it's not for Anglophones.
But Anglophones have been complaining. They have been complaining that some key ministries in the country, such as Defense Ministry, Finance Ministry, just to name these few, Anglophones have been sidelined from holding or ascending to those ministerial positions. So,
yes,
seeing Atanganji,
your question, but
yes,
it is very important that I make it clear that you are a minister, not because you are an Anglophone.
Because you are performant.
That is why we need a system where the people will elect you. We don't need, who are we complaining to? Mr. Bia, CPDM, they don't own government. They are just a government. Government come and go. Let me go back to the main question about Anglophones who have benefited from the Anglophone crisis. There is one name missing there. The Prime Minister of Cameroon, my former lecturer, Prime Minister Diongute. So I saw a comment yesterday about that paper. Somebody said, is the Guardian afraid of the Prime Minister? Why is his name not there? So I don't know how they selected those people to put their name there. However, it is
no, but Diongute has not benefited. Probably he has not benefited because of Anglophone crisis. He has headed ENAM. He has been in so many institutions before becoming Prime Minister. So probably his appointment.
When he goes around dancing via dance in Boya, and he went to Bamenda, that is for Peace Crusade. Do you know how much they spend? Do you know how many millions they spend for something that I should call it was a useless campaign for peace, because nothing have come out from the Prime Minister's peace campaign in the Northwest and Southwest. That's benefiting. You're just going there for holiday and stay in a hotel and take about how many ministers and friends to go and have a holiday in Northwest and Southwest.
Maitre, before he went there, people were complaining that he's not going down. I mean, he's not going to the field. You Cameroonians were complaining that he should have gone there. Now he went there, you are complaining.
Mr. Lasha, people should be complaining to their local MP, not to the Prime Minister. Their local MP should take their matter somewhere. So when we keep on saying people complain, who are they complaining to when we have do-nothing MP? To go back to your question about Anglophone benefiting, one of the things that caught my eye was, the Musonga Commission. Yes. We have a constitution that talk about hate crime. We have a criminal procedure, legal system in Cameroon that talks about all this, what Mr. Musonga is doing. This Musonga Commission is just wasting taxpayers' money.
But bilingualism is inscribed in our constitution. I think English and French are the official language or languages of the country. So, yes.
Including the promotion of a various traditional dialect. It is there in the constitution. What we need is the implementation of it, not double creating another mini something like a constitution.
But
as I say,
is the Bilingualism Commission not implementing it? Are they not trying to see that the constitution is implemented?
We know the constitution of Cameroon is Mr. Bia l'état c'est moi. So if Mr. Bia doesn't decide to do something, nothing will happen. Mr. Bia is the constitution. The constitution is just there to deceive people. We know in most African countries, when there's a coup d'etat, they suspend the constitution. So constitution in Africa is just a toilet tissue. And I was supposed to bring another person who have benefited, which I know that for a fact, Mr. Fayengo Francis. I don't know why they created the DDR. The DDR, they say, is to de-radicalize people. But most of these people are killers. The victim, the government doesn't care about the victims. I saw the hotel in Bamenda that they constructed for people who have been killing people. What about those who were killed in Gabo? What have they done to them? So, to an extent, there are a lot of people who are making money, and the truth is,
but Maitre, let me cut you short. Are you saying that in other countries where we've had conflicts, we've not had a DDR center in conflict resolution? That is one of the, one of the stages of conflict resolution, the DDR center and the disarmament.
We either have a national Peace and Reconciliation Committee like the one that happened in South Africa, or we have nothing. What the government is doing is promoting and helping criminals. If you want us to reconcile, you have to bring the victims and the perpetrators of those crimes. You don't take one side because you want to make sure that if you can put this guy, give them jobs and what, the crisis will end. No, everybody is watching. The victims are watching. When the government get it wrong, we as a people, the civilians that have suffered, we are going to rise and tell the government that, look, you cannot be pleasing criminals. If you want national reconciliation, you have to start the victim, and people have to confess for their crimes.
Maitre, should we really be talking about people benefiting? Is it not their constitutional right to occupy those positions that they are occupying? Should the Guardian Post be talking about things like this?
My problem is, when we talk about, it's nice to talk about things like this, but however, what is the solution? That's my problem. Do the Guardian Post, do they have a solution? Because people will always be there. As you said, Mr. Atanga Nji is the first Anglophone. So our ministers in Cameroon, they put them as if they are members of parliament. This man comes from this area, this man comes from this area. There are a lot of good people who can do a lot of good things in Cameroon. But the way they appoint ministers in Cameroon, they are not elected, because in a country like the United Kingdom, you have to be a member of parliament first before they appoint you as a minister. In Cameroon, they just pick people, professors.
But that is a parliamentary system of governance, Maitre.
Yes, even in America, most people who are ministers have been elected as governor, as mayor, or something before, even the presidential system. But we see most people in Cameroon, they were never elected. Either you are a friend of Mr. Bia, or you are a certain doctor somewhere. It's about connection, nepotism. That you need the right people to be there. I don't bother wherever you come from, what tribe or what. So far as you're competent, that's what I want to see. And the people that we have in Cameroon, you go and take somebody who was general manager in CDC and make him a prime minister. You take civil servants and make them politicians. It cannot work.
Okay, Maitre. Gwladys has a question for you.
Parlant toujours du pain sur le beurre, malheureusement, les Camerounais, en fait, le Camerounais lambda n'a pas, lui, pour autant du beurre sur son pain, parce que nous sommes passés de 125 francs la baguette de pain à 150 francs CFA en catimini, à l'insu même des populations.
Yeah, I understand you're talking about the price of bread or whatsoever. It saddens me because normally when you talk about the price of bread, people will be concerned because of international price of wheat. But I understand from a person yesterday was talking about because the import, is it flour or whatsoever from foreign countries or what, that's what is killing them or whatsoever. I'm not sure about that. But
no, it's a fact. That's a fact.
It's a fact.
It's coming from the Union of Bakery Owners in the country. They held a meeting and they warned the government of rising wheat flour, prices.
You see, we are from Cameroon. We have all the soil and everything to do our own thing. To me, as I've always said this time and again, the government is more concerned on how to stay in power than to govern. Because these are issues that the government have to look onto. Bread is a daily bread. We always talk about daily bread. It's something we need every day. Water, electricity, but we keep on hearing who is going to succeed here. These are the things they keep on wasting their time instead of governing, instead of looking at the daily necessity of life. It is very dangerous because the government is putting the country in a very dangerous path. Civil war have come because of what? Bread, wine. Those little things can cause trouble in the country. It's high time the government start looking into this problem and how to solve it. That's the essence of being a government.
Okay, that's the essence of being a government, Maitre. And equally, we are told that over 27 human rights organizations are calling on the government to release those that have been detained or political prisoners in the country.
You know, most of these human rights organizations are activists, they are campaigners. It's always good to hear their voice, but we know the truth. Mr. Biya wants to release these people. They should be talking to the French president. I was in Cameroon October 4, 2019. Macron said, I'm going to ask they will release Kamto. He was released. So it's nice for human rights organizations to talk, but they know the people who can press the button for our people to be released. So all is good. I will never stop them from doing what they are doing. Every little helps, but we know the truth. They are setting those people that they are locking up. There are people who come from different areas and will release them. Unfortunately, the people who are there are people who don't have Repinode. It's the people who don't have Gwladys, as we call it in French. They are the people who have been locked up there. If Mr. Biya or France, they want to release those people, they will release those people.
Maitre.
We are segregating in camp.
Okay. We end with this last headline with the Sun newspaper talking about the National Assembly scribe that has finally been sacked by Kavayege. Unfortunately, 2 days ago, I don't know whether it was yesterday, I asked you that question, but the lines did not permit you to answer me. He was finally sacked, and the chiefs from Littoral region went to beg Kavayege not to disgrace their sons. And at the end of the day, Kavayege has gone ahead to sack him. And he is the 5th under Kavayege era.
My problem is I don't understand how that country functions.
No, but it's your country, of course. You schooled here before.
Kavaye is a legislator. You cannot be sacking somebody. We have a judiciary. To me, I haven't got the facts of the case, but what I can tell you, that's what we call in the
but
UK,
they say
dismissal.
They say
it's an unfair
dismissal
or constructive dismissal. If something happened, the first thing, there should be a disciplinary hearing. And if there is something, they should suspend. Is it Mr. Kumba? And after suspension, they will do an investigation, either civil or criminal investigation. I'm not sure something like that happened.
But that's a body charged with making the laws of this country. Should that be happening there?
They are not the judiciary. They are not the judiciary. So I don't know if there was any disciplinary committee. You cannot be the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative at the same time. That's what is happening in Cameroon. I believe Mr. Kumba have got the case for unfair dismissal. But however, Cameroon is Cameroon.
Okay, Maitre, thank you very much for accepting to be part of us this morning. We've come to the end of today's edition of the program. And of course, the program was produced for us by Christain, Tebong. We were Bomotonguina, Gwladys, and myself, Lasha Kingsley. See you tomorrow for yet another edition of What the Papers Must Have Said. Bye-bye.
BT Media.